Welcome to Cage Free Voices Radio, an innovative educational entertainment radio show where youth and young adults have the opportunity to see themselves even if the world is blind. Guys, I am so excited because we finally have launched our first episode for 2018. Some of you who have been following us for quite some time now know that we have episodes from 2016 to 2017. And a lot of people have been asking us if they could actually see us live, and now you can. So again, this is a youth and young adult radio show, although we will have some experts on from time to time. Speaking of which, we have a young adult on right now, and he goes by the name of Elbie Smoov. Elbie, say something to the people.
What's good, everybody? This your boy, Elbie Smoov. That's SMOOV, no E.
I love it. So Elbie, because we're talking, the topic for today, we're talking about for the love of music and the people. So Elbie is a singer-songwriter. He's also an author. His actual birth name is Elbie Williams III. And he was given Elbie Smoov by his college fellow members in a campus organization at Delaware State University called Spoken Word Artists United. And it's based off of the fitting laid-back demeanor and way in which he has with words. And so, yes, he is also a spoken word artist. Indeed. Ladies, y'all better catch him. Y'all better catch him. He's originally from PG County, having resided in Landover Hills, District Heights, Seat Pleasant, Upper Marlboro, and Clinton. He grew up in the church singing in the choir and listening to oldies but goodies. And you could tell just by listening to his content and the way he is with words. He became a starter and team captain as a junior, and he recorded his first song as a sophomore with a former DSU football player. Go ahead, boy. I hear you.
A little talented, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. You say it a little bit loud. You said a little talented, just a little bit. After performing at an on-campus talent show or talent shows, events, and tearing his UCL, and I asked him off-site because I don't know a lot about offline. I asked him offline because I don't know a lot about injuries and muscles, even though I was a biology major. I said, you mean your ACL? He said, no, UCL, like in my
elbow.
In your elbow.
It's like it's the equivalent to your ACL in your knee, but your arm.
Okay. So awesome. And so after doing that, he made a decision to pursue his music full force. Talk a little bit more about that. Like, have you always been singing? I know you say you started in church. At what age did you start?
I think I first, like, when did I first realize I could sing?
Okay, you can start there too.
I first realized I could sing when I was in, I think, like second or third grade. And actually at the time, I'm not sure if you heard of Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
He was our minister of music at the church I grew up in. And he has 3 sons. And all 3 of us we were like cousins. So we had this idea that we were going to be a quad, a little group or whatever.
Like a new edition.
But we, of course, growing up in the church, all we at the time listened to was gospel music. So we'd like pick out the 4 different parts of certain songs, and we'd sing it for certain people in the church, see how they thought we sounded. But that was the first time I ever really realized I could sing. I think the first time I ever sang like in front of people was for one of our youth nights. That was like 7th grade.
Yeah, so you said that you started off with a group. Like, take us back to the moment where you are first finding out for yourself, by yourself, before you even get with the group.
I think I heard I Believe I Could Fly. I Believe I Could Fly was like my go-to song, to the point where when people would ask me to sing, my dad was like, look, we understand you can fly. Like you got to give me another one. And
I know your father is a singer too. He's actually on one of my tracks.
Indeed.
Did you know that?
Indeed.
On the song "Need to Be Free."
And
you guys should check that out. But that's how I found out more about like your family, because you guys are a family of singers, which is amazing. Like your father and your mother sing. So was that a part of like you trying to check out and see if you had the capability? Like, did that factor into it any?
I think it's, I don't know, growing up around like music.
Yeah.
I think that kind of tied into like my love, generally speaking, for music. Like we have family reunions, especially on like my dad's side.
Yeah.
Where all of the older cousins would get together, like in my dad's generation.
Yeah.
And we had like 4 cousins in particular, and they'd get to stomp, clapping. I'm living it life. Just
Go ahead, sing that.
And they full part harmonies, doing the ad libs and all of that. And then my grandparents, they sang. They would play a lot of like vinyls and oldies but goodies when we were younger. And they hand dance, like my great uncles and stuff.
So y'all were like the Winans and like the, what is it, Karen Clark Sheard and her family, because they go deep too with all the singing and gospel singing. Have you ever gotten to a place where, because I know the song that you're going to perform today is more along the lines of like R&B. How did you make the shift, or did you always just sing like across the spectrum?
When did I start getting into R&B? I think I started showing an interest in R&B when I got to probably middle school. And like I said, having grandparents and like my great uncles, like my grandmother's brothers and stuff like that, we would have Easter egg hunts at my great uncle's house in Glenarden.
Yeah.
And they would always be playing like the Al Green and Marvin Gaye and stuff like that, and they would be listening to that. Had a vinyls turned all the way up while we looked at the eggs. You know what I mean? So I guess that's kind of the soul music transitioning into like the 90s R&B. Yeah. That's kind of my niche.
I think that's awesome that your parents were very eclectic in a sense. I'm thinking about myself growing up, because you sometimes, like as a Christian, right? Because I'm Christian myself. When you come across people who say they're believers in the faith, they feel like you can only listen to one genre of music. You can only listen to gospel. So like for me growing up, my mom started with the Al Green and stuff, and then she started going to church, and she shut it all down. Yeah. And so I felt like, oh man, like I have to like kind of rebel somewhat, and just listen to like different genres of music, because my mom only wanted me to listen to gospel. So I really appreciate that your parents gave you the freedom and the liberty to do that. Who would you say is like your inspiration? Like, who inspires you when you write your lyrics?
When I write, a lot of times when I write, my lyrics come from things that I've been through.
Yeah.
So like I've had my share of interactions through like relationships and stuff like that. My share of little heartbreaks. And,
okay, so tell us about, give us a little bit of your story of like heartbreak, just like if you feel free to share.
Okay.
Because it's different, right? Like it's different coming from a male. Like females, we're really willing to share that kind of stuff, and you'll hear us talking about like heartbreak issues often. You don't hear a lot of, well, me personally, I don't hear a lot of males, especially young adult males, talking about.
Okay, so a little background information on the song I'm gonna be doing today. Basically, in that relationship, it was we were good. We were friends first. Always had an attraction to each other, and genuinely loved each other. But I guess we kind of grew apart. And yeah, like it was like, I guess, a honeymoon phase, because even though I knew her for like 5-6 years,
for real,
prior to us getting together, I don't know, we hit a rough patch and communication is key, and the communication was not there, to the point where
on your part or her part or both.
Both of us. Both of us. And actually, after we broke up, I tried to get back with her. And she wasn't really having it. I think she was kind of talking to somebody, but then we had like an emotional 3 conversations where we was yelling at each other. Like, she was like, don't you understand, I really saw myself being your wife, and I'm snapping back yo, you don't think that's what I wanted? It was real emotional. But we kind of came to the realization that we weren't in a place where we had to work on us.
Yeah.
Just generally speaking. And I guess that kind of comes with maturity.
What were some of the things you felt you needed to work on?
Communication, definitely. And essentially not being afraid to say what it is what you're thinking and you're feeling.
Yeah.
And taking it how it comes, accepting, letting the chips fall where they may. And being fine with the result. Because essentially you stated, listen, this is how I'm feeling. These are my intentions. This is where I potentially see us going. Do you feel mutually the same? Yes, maybe. No? Maybe I was moving too fast. Cool. But I am interested in you. I think a lot of times us as fellas, we get kind of caught up in it. I guess it's kind of frowned upon expressing yourself to that extent, because essentially that requires a level of vulnerability, and I kind of attribute it to how society is now, because being that vulnerable, you give yourself room to potentially be hurt, and that other person could potentially use what you telling them against you. So then it comes a self-preservation thing and a pride thing. Why would I metaphorically give you ammunition?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm cool with it.
So have you always been vulnerable in relationships, and not just romantic relationships, but just relationships with people who are in your close knit circle?
I for the longest time, because I'm so laid back and observant and things like that, a lot of times I would be overly nonchalant. So it would be kind of a gift and a curse. People couldn't really read me. But then also people wouldn't really know how to deal with me. I was in college, I was in interactions and relationships with females where they might do something to aggravate me just so I could respond.
And that's good to hear from a male, because I think, listening to you say they would do things to aggravate you to get you to respond.
Right.
And from the female perspective, it's not like I'm purposely trying to aggravate you. It's I'm trying to connect with you. Right. And so,
do you care?
Do you care? Right.
Where I'm if I say I feel like this and I'm telling you I see us going in this direction, what more do you really want from me? But a lot of times on the back end, well, in my experience, the female in some cases didn't know how to explain what she felt like she was lacking, or what she felt lacking in our interaction.
And you talk about that in this song. Is this song inspired by previous events or communication issues? What's the name of the song, by the way?
Listen to My Heart.
Listen to My Heart. I love that. I love that. You think you could tell us what inspired it and then perform some of it for us?
Okay. So again, what inspired it was my most recent breakup. That was like a year and some change ago. And she know that we talked about it. I think I had written the first half of it, and then I kind of got like writer's block. Then those emotional 3 conversations that I was telling you about earlier, those happened. And I think I saw something. I think she was on like a date or something like that that I saw on like social media. I can't remember, Instagram, Snapchat, something like that. And she was all dressed up like in her little formal attire, and I always wanted to like do that stuff like that. But I didn't really have the means to go about doing. And then come to find out, like, it was a friend's birthday party, and the friend gave her +1 capabilities, that thing, and they was, but
all right.
I got in my little feelings and finished the song.
Well, we better hear these feelings and listen to my heart. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Elbie Smoov. Ready?
Indeed. Oh, yeah. Listen to my heart, yeah. Oh. Now I lay me down to sleep, and I pray my soul to keep conversations with the Father. Things ain't the same when you ain't next to me, girl. I never knew that love would go astray. Gave my all and still missed the mark. Your perfume and your tenderness, the only things that can cure this weary heart, yeah. And every moment spent without your love, girl, my life is incomplete. And every moment spent without your touch, girl, it feels like I can't breathe, no. Oh, listen to my heart, yeah. Listen to my heart, yeah. Oh, girl, it's hard to bear knowing you ain't next to me when I roll over. And girl, it's hard to bear seeing that promise ring we picked out on the sofa, girl. Missing your voice got me tossing off the late night. I can't sleep, no. Got these migraines and appetite ain't the same. All I need in my life is you, baby. I never knew that love would go astray. Gave my all and still missed the mark. Your perfume and tenderness, only things that can cure this weary heart, yeah. And every moment spent without your love, girl, it feels my life is incomplete. And every moment spent without your touch, it feels like I can't breathe, no. Oh, baby, listen to my heart, yeah. Can you hear me, girl? Listen, girl. No, we both were to blame for why we ended up this way. But departing from my rib, girl, it's a pain. It's a pain I just can't take. I ain't too proud to beg now. Oh, baby, please. I'm down on my knees. You know you're my queen, baby, don't you give up on me, no, no. Now I lay me down asleep, and I pray my soul to keep conversations with the Father. Things ain't the same when you ain't next to me, girl. And every moment's been without your love. Girl, my life is incomplete. And every day and every night, wish you were here right next to me. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Elbie Smoov. We are so grateful that you've joined us today for Cage Free Voices Radio.
I appreciate
we would like
you
to
for
thank you all for joining us and viewing this episode. Had a great time. So remember to see yourselves even if the world is blind. Reflect, connect, and transcend every internal and external barrier that will try to cage your voice. Remember, be cage free.